loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Florida State beat North Carolina in the first game 7-5 or 9-5.
Was there a war chant?
I think there was.
There has to.
Give that to us. There we go. Okay, there we go. Good.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score. Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC. And on the ones and twos, as always, with Mr. Harrison. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, doing great. I got a little bit of a sweet tooth here, and I know our guest kind of seems to line up with that this morning. But yeah, doing great. It's fantastic Sunday morning. Been a fun weekend. If you guys want to join in on any of today's shows, Starter Heyman text line always open to you, 402-464-5685. We will have the College World Series on later today, a little bit 10 minutes after noon. But in the meantime, we will be on the airwaves until then. So yeah, feel free to join us for Bigger Than the Score with Pete Ferguson.
Yeah, no, and like I said, you couldn't ask for a better day when you're talking about baseball and kind of that, I don't want to say shift in season, but the NBA finals ended and got the opportunity, thanks to Mike Alvarez, a friend, and I'm truly appreciative, got the opportunity to go to the game last night up in Omaha. And all the years I've been here, it was the first time I've actually gone to a World Series game. And so the park was beautiful. The crowd, I think they said record setting attendance, I think 24, nearly 26.5, a little bit under. And just, again, you couldn't ask for a better night. Texas A&M went ahead and took the win. Really shell-shocked Tennessee right off the bat. I mean, we had just sat down and I think the third pitch in, just a moonshot to a little bit of, some near center field. And so I think Tennessee just didn't have the ability to recover after that. Went through a string of pitchers, made a run, I want to say, about that third, fifth inning or so with a couple back-to-back shots and went through some of Texas A&M's, pitchers and relievers, but just never really recovered from that first inning.
Yeah, it seems to be the way of the College World Series. I mean, it feels like that every year, but it's just which teams are feeling hot right now. You look at Florida; they beat Kentucky 15-4.
Yeah,
and then they get shut out by Texas A&M the next day. So it's just kind of been that's kind of the beauty of the College World Series is like which team's just feeling hot today. And unfortunately for Nebraska's case, they ran into Florida right when they were peaking, and Florida cools off right when they get to Texas A&M. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling like Tennessee's going to be able to walk away with this thing easy. Texas A&M. This thing's just been back and forth. So again, that'll be today, 1:00. Should be a lot of fun. Was that the first day you were out there?
Yesterday was, I didn't get to see Blur. Actually, last week after we got done with the show, did a Juneteenth event, but then also ended up going to Houston, and so had a couple facilitations during the last couple weeks, and so just haven't had the chance to get out there. I know Blur, and that was a really a good time, and if it was any indication of what was going on last night after the game, I can tell you there were probably plenty of Jello shots for those that are age appropriate. That were flowing. So good week all the way around. Congratulations and great job by the host, Omaha. It is no small undertaking. Just with Creighton was the host. I believe they had Mecca and a number of different partners. But 93.7 The Ticket also being one of those individuals that were sponsoring and supporting. And so again, game today is at 1:00, and so tremendous opportunity. Hopefully to string it to 3 games. I always kind of wondered, it was a little bit odd about that. Why that Saturday, Sunday, Monday instead of maybe like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just from a travel standpoint. They had, the ACC, SEC was well represented. I mean, it was not like anybody went home. So again, good luck to both those squads, safe travels to those that are going up. Number of other things. You got the Boston Celtics, just as DP calls the dreaded empire, the evil empire, and this is my Cowboys reference to the Cowboys. The Boston Celtics are kind of mine. I struggled seeing them pull it off and win, but really well balanced. I mean, when you have a Jaylen Brown getting the MVP and probably was the best player, I don't want to say arguably, was the best all around player, really was a testament to that squad, but also as young people coming up and seeing different roles and how, you just do what's right and you just play the game. And so they took that series. Dallas just, I think, missed some opportunities to extend the series. I mean, people will go back to the Luka Doncic, game that he got. Well, I think he excused himself. He excused himself out of the game. Kyrie Irving, undisputably a phenomenal player, but just did not have the series that I think I know he wanted, but nor did the team needed to have it. And then I think Porzingis, when he came back, just caused some size problems for him that early on gave him a little bit of a lead. So you go into free agency, you go into that aspect, which is probably the most exciting part of basketball, to see where people like Paul George, and then you've got the draft coming up Wednesday and Thursday, which is a 2-day affair, which will be kind of interesting. I think all eyes are on where Bronny James goes, which seems like a, foregone conclusion to play with dad. Yeah. But we'll see. NBA season's closing up. And so you've got that. You got the WNBA still in full stretch. There's no shortage of storylines still going on with that, with, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and, the Olympics you got coming up. You got a couple local talents, which might have the opportunity to go ahead and make an appearance, which is always exciting. I mean, that's a rare once in a lifetime opportunity. I know we talked a little bit about the volleyball side of things, but especially on the track and field side. I mean, and there's other local, I think, Nebraska Midwest connects that you're excited to kind of watch and see what happens. And so those trials with the track and field, the swimming, I want to say there was another component going on right now, but I know the track and field and the swimming are going on.
Is Darius Luff, when is he competing?
I'm not sure the exact. Sha'Carri Richardson made it yesterday, and so I want to say everything's in the span of this week. But yeah, as you look that up, and just a lot of other things. Like I said, I also want to extend, just kind of on a somber note, I want to extend condolences to the Yano Jones family, who was a community pillar, educator, father, so much more. Had the opportunity to know Yano. Wasn't, an intimate friendship by any means, but professionally and personally knew him and had to attend his funeral. It was an unexpected death for him as he battled cancer. And the place Friday was truly a testament. I always say it's kind of a shame that there's kind of a couple times that we all get together like that. And that's, weddings, and funerals and family reunions. And it really was a celebration of his life. A huge shout out to his daughter. His daughter got up and just showed the energy and the inspiration that he brings. Yano, for some people out there, may know he's worked with a lot of different tight ends and scholar athletes and helped propel their purpose and empowered and educated and engaged them in a way. And so just a hard loss, under 50, and you never have a great, a time where you write the script where you're going. But I just wanted to offer my condolences to him. And then also Dr. Colleen Jones, she was an administrator over at the university, the Jones Scholars. Her and her husband, Melvin Jones, created that for scholars to have opportunities and engagement. And she passed as well this week. And so just for the community, I know other people have lost individuals, and as you're in that boat, my condolences to you. But those are two prominent members within this community and in the state that will be missed, but have laid down some paths and some footprints for us to be lifted up on. So rest in power to both of those individuals as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I got down here in 2018, so hearing those names are just kind of common where I don't fully know them, but I hear a lot of good stories about them. And then, it's one of those things. We're coming to the studio, everyone had great things to say, about. So again, obviously, rest in peace. Condolences there. But again, 402-464-5685. If you guys want to share anything, feel free to read it in here. But yeah, with that being said, we got a few more minutes left. I could talk about the NBA Finals for like the next 3 hours.
Give me your thought and perspective real quick. I need your 30-second summary.
Let me pique your brain a little bit history-wise, because this Celtics team is going to be remembered weirdly, I feel like. Just because the East, the run they had was quote-unquote walk in the park. Not their fault that they ran into injuries, but out of the past 17 championships, you try to figure out where does the Celtics team rank. Because they're sitting there, you lose 21 games total, regular season and postseason play, but people still look at this team like it's not one of the greater teams we've seen come through the NBA. But record-wise, I mean, that's one of the most dominant teams we've seen in a long time. Really got to go look at the Warriors years with Steph, KD, and Kevin Durant. I mean, when you look at the Celtics team, is that one that sticks out among all the other past champions?
I think for people who understand basketball, it does. For the mere, I don't say mere, but the fan who just kind of looks at things and wants to get on YouTube and Twitter and take clips and this, that, and the other, they won't, You know, you fall in love with you romanticize the history and the legacy, and Dennis Scott and Larry Bird. I mean, I think that would have happened if the Lakers would have won. They would have always put it together. Is this better than Kobe and Shaq and this, that, and the other? But people who understand basketball understand that they did things a way that very few teams are doing it, and they played together as a team. People assumed different roles, and that may have been, to be perfectly honest, part of their downfall in the last couple of years. I mean, they've had dominance. I mean, that trade of Marcus Smart, I believe, was, I felt Marcus Smart was their toughest player.
That's a good point. I was wondering about that.
That trade, I thought that was going to be you need to have that type of person on your team. And so I think they played basketball. I saw, as much as I'm not a fan of the Celtics, they played basketball. They played basketball the right way. They moved the ball around. When people were struggling, other people were able to step up. You keep hearing that term roles. Nobody gets in the NBA when you say, well, they can't score. They can't score. Everybody in the NBA was a 20-some point a game scorer in high school, probably in college, and they just have to assume something else. When you get to the pros to stay, it's not that they can't score. And so when they had those opportunities to do that, I mean, you saw that with White, you saw that with other people off the Celtics that you didn't even know their names. They contributed.
Yeah, even Al Horford at times when you're not you're kind of on the last leg of his career. He's coming back for another year, but you'll have a night where he'll give you 20. I don't know, where Drew Holiday on top of his defense, he'll give you 26.
That was a huge pickup. Yeah. I mean, you talk about that, and then you talk about Horford when you can step out and extend threes.
Oh, yeah. And then, like you said, Porzingis, you don't even have to use him to his full extent. There was a case study on that's you just get a bunch of role players that know their role. You don't necessarily need a top 5 player in the league. Now, you could say Tatum might be a top 5 player, but I think he's maybe top 10. But yeah, it's definitely a case study. Before we get to our break here, Celtics again next year, or you think we got Nuggets, somebody rivaling them? It's the beauty of the East. It's one of those West.
I don't want to pick the Celtics, but somebody's gonna have to knock them off. And right now, the West is kind of a mess.
That's where I'm at. So I'll double down on the Nuggets coming back next year. But yeah, Celtics to get number 18. All right, Pete, what do we got coming ahead here?
Hey, we always get the opportunity to bring in phenomenal individuals. I know I use that word oftentimes, but this one's a real treat. And I want to say that in all elements and sense of the word, because we have treats in front of us and our mouths are salivating. We're probably breaking the fitness fanatics. I think we're going to leave a couple in here just to see if they break down and go ahead and take it.
Be a good case study for Jeff and Nicole.
Yeah.
What does Jeff react? Does he take the bait?
all that talk about, making sure that you watch, your macros and micros and all that. No, I'm just kidding. You do need to do that and listen to them from 9 to 11. But we have Deanna Laffler, and she is the owner, founder, president, I like to say primary belief officer of Little D's Brownies. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But I'm glad to have you here this morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. And you got to hear all this talk about basketball and everything else. Are you a basketball fan? First off, we got to ask.
I'm a soccer fan.
Soccer. Okay. Team. Give us your team.
Tottenham Hotspurs.
Okay.
Premier League.
Okay. She got her. We're gonna have to break it down here. Next time we open up with soccer, we got to talk to our guests. So tell us first off, people want to know who you are. So tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Deanna Laffler. I go to Southwest and Northeast High School. I'm a big soccer fan. I love track. I love soccer. Unfortunately, I'm not the biggest basketball fan. The bouncing from the from the court really gets to my head after a while. And yeah, that's pretty much all to me.
Tell us, have you always lived in Lincoln? Where have you gone to elementary, middle? And you talked a little bit about high school, but restate that for us.
I've always lived in Lincoln. My mom's from Omaha, so it gives me a little bit of something else. I went to Lakeview Elementary School and I went to Park Middle School, and then I go to Southwest and Northeast High School.
Okay, so you got a little bit of a combination on the high schools. Tell us, what you're obviously involved in some different things. So tell us about that combination of those two things.
I go to Northeast High School for JROTC for 0 hour every single day.
And tell the folks what that is that may not know what what JROTC is.
It's actually Air Force JROTC.
Or A Force, sorry.
It's okay. It's Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. It's like a military inspired program. It's a very good program. I love the program. Awesome. We just basically learn to like on Mondays we do marching and classwork. Last year we learned about planes, and just like different marching techniques and stuff.
Fantastic, fantastic. And then you go to Southwest, you said.
Mhm.
So after that 0 hour, you head on over there
Yep.
and you go ahead and engage. Who's in your family? You talked about your mom and that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I am biracial. My mom is African American, and then my dad, he is from Lincoln. Um, I'm an only child, so I don't have any siblings, but I have a lot of people who are like my family. Shout out to my Auntie Sata and Uncle Victor. They've really helped me get in touch with my African part of my culture. My Auntie Sata is from Liberia and my Uncle Victor's from Nigeria. And I gotta say, I love them. They feel blood related.
Awesome, awesome. And we don't want to do a disservice by not having mom and dad's name put out there. You said mom and dad, so go ahead and give their names. I know if people are listening at work or family are like, she didn't say your name. Go ahead. So we're gonna give permission because we know sometimes in our households, you can't call them by first names, but we're gonna give permission just so you can show them some love.
My dad is Dion Lafleur. I'm named after my dad, and then my mom is Sherry Lafleur.
Awesome. Fantastic. So when we get back, we're going to get to know and learn a little bit more about you. Also, we got some goodies that we're also going to get to taste. So I don't want to keep focusing on that. But like I said, we're looking and Harrison keeps reaching over. I have to keep slapping his hand like it's like soul food or something like that. But we'll be back on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first. That sounds like a match made in heaven. Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Summertime is here, so get out your grills and smokers. Fairway has all you need for USDA prime or choice cuts of beef, all natural pork, chicken and seafood, and a selection of veal, lamb, bison, and Wagyu cuts. Now through June 17th, enjoy Lincoln's favorite 8-ounce USDA choice bacon wrapped sirloin filet for just $4.99 each. That's all at Fairway Meat Market and the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Gaina Trucking is hiring for heavy equipment operators and a heavy equipment mechanic. Working at Gaina Trucking is a great career with excellent team culture, with benefits package including competitive pay based on experience, health, vision, and dental insurance, and a 401k plan. If you're looking for a new job as a heavy equipment operator or mechanic, apply online at GainaTrucking.com or call 402-794-5000. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Play ball! Tired of the same old routine? Then bring your crew out to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. Enjoy action-packed home games all week long from May through August. It's the perfect change-up to the typical family night or makes for a home run outing with friends and coworkers. Experience the magic and get in on the excitement. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets now. Unleash the fun.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and also joined on the ones and twos as always by Harrison. Truly appreciative. Harrison, if people want to get in touch with us, how can they do that?
Yeah, as always on Sundays, you can join us on these streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo, channel 961. And of course, we're going to be on the FM airwaves as well, all the way up until about 12:10 today. So again, we'll have the College World Series taken over, but 402-464-5685. In the meantime, you guys feel free to join in at any time.
Well, like I said, we're sitting here. We were talking about food during the break, and we got to stop doing that because all of a sudden, I think you almost had nobody in the studio as we were going to go.
Start talking about our favorite meals for moms. So.
I was going to say moms and what it needed to smell like. So, DP, we're going to try to get the studio. We're going to get that aroma each Sunday of soul food and that breakfast morning. But we've got Deanna Laffler, and Deanna is the owner, founder, and I always like to say instead of CEO, I say PBO, your primary belief officer, a little D's Brownies. But Deanna, you started to tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'm interested, just what's something people like see when they look at you? So as you're walking down the street, as you came in the studio, what is just kind of that common thing people kind of see of Deanna?
Honestly, they just see like a middle schooler, which, I'm a sophomore, so sometimes I take offense to it, but I'm like, hey, I look young, so I'll take it. But a lot of people, they're shocked about like the different things that I do just because I don't look like I do a lot of the things that I do, like the JROTC thing. Apparently I'm marked as like the JROTC brownie soccer girl at school. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting combo, but I don't know. I think it's just interesting having like a business. I think it's really interesting.
So moving, from that a little bit, and you spoke a little bit, some of those things people don't see. What is something you want people to know about you that they wouldn't know just by looking at you? They need to talk with you and they need to build a relationship. What is that one thing that you're like, okay, I wish people really knew this about me?
I'm just friendly. I just like to talk to people. I like to know people. I just like to know people and talk to people. Yeah.
So you're involved in a number of different things. You,
Mhm.
you talked about some of those things. Are just a couple of other things that you're involved in before we kind of get into your business.
Mhm. I do try to do a lot of volunteer stuff. I really like Indigo Bridge Bookstore. I'm usually there with my parents a lot. Um, I'm a big family person. Like again, Auntie Sata, I'm always over their
Okay.
house, seeing my little cousins. But yeah, I don't know. I just like to do a lot of different variety of things.
Well, Harris and I, like I said, we were talking during the break about just kind of reminiscing about food, about
Mhm.
what the house smelled like, and our favorite eats. And so you have like parlayed that into a business, and I'm kind of interested
Mhm.
just knowing. I believe it started in seventh grade,
Mhm.
but tell us first, just kind of where did your love for food come from? Like, what was it centered around? I kind of always use the term that soul food in the movie and everything. Just you get around the table and all good things, but also celebrations. But some of the sad things come around food. So, what was your connect to food? Was it folks, your auntie, or a favorite restaurant?
Mhm. It was most definitely my mom and my dad's business, Mama Sherry's, soul food.
Okay.
I just remember them cooking, especially for my family when I was younger, especially Thanksgiving. Whew, it was
Okay.
it was chaotic,
Uh-oh.
and, they started selling food, I think it was 2020,
Okay.
or right around when I started selling my brownies was when they got their food license. Um, I started selling my brownies well, I started selling them at school first, but then I started incorporating into Mama Sherry's because Mama Sherry's Lil D. Um, but yeah, it was definitely probably my mom's business.
Okay. And so before we get to the brownies, what
Mhm.
was the thing that your mom throws down on? That you're like,
Mhm.
okay, ain't nobody gonna touch this. Nobody's gonna mess. You talked about greens and some things earlier,
Uh-huh.
but like we can speak and you're like, no, you ain't, you can think what you want, but my mom is the one who knows what she's doing here.
Uh-huh. It's definitely her greens.
Okay.
I've never had greens. I can't eat greens anywhere else.
Wow.
Her
Okay.
greens, ew, oh my gosh. I
So
love them.
so does she do like, I mean, meat? Did she put
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
She
I
she
know
put
some
ha she
don't, so I
puts,
want
like,
to make sure there's ham hocks and
smoked
stuff.
ham hock in
Oh,
there.
okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. Oh man, you may have to make me a plate of those. So before I digress too much, so
Mhm.
what made you connect with brownies? I mean, what
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about your business, how it all came about. You said you started making them and kind of selling them at school, but like what gave you the idea, like, okay, brownies is something I want to do instead of cookies or go
Mhm.
buying Twizzlers and reselling them. I mean, I'm just curious about
Mhm.
that.
So really, my dad it's actually my dad's recipe.
Okay.
Uh-huh. But I don't exactly know because cookies, number one, I can't bake cookies. I cannot bake a cookie. It's either overbaked or underbaked. I can never get it just
Okay.
right. But also, you people just don't really do brownies. You see like cupcakes and cookies a lot, but brownies, it's just I gotta say they're underrated. You just don't really see like a brownie. I don't want to say a brownie dealer, but like a brownie.
Look at me and Harrison are being like, hey, we just took one. We were like, okay, we got 5 on it right now. So thank you. Okay. In a
Like a
good way.
brownie
In a good way.
baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm looking, we're holding it. So like I'm like
Mhm.
these are not
Mm-mm.
like you coming in like
Mhm.
these got some weight to them.
Mhm.
And so you talked about it's your dad's recipe. Where did
Mhm.
he get it from? Is it a family thing? Is it an
Mhm.
experiment? Did he like taste different ones and be like, okay, this needs sugar, this needs,
Yeah,
what?
he tasted different ones.
Okay.
I think he came up with it like 10 years ago and he was just like, "Hey, you should start making these at school." Because I was really broke in 7th grade. I never had any money and I
Okay.
I loved hanging out with my friends, Park Middle School. There's a little Mexican bakery a few
Okay.
blocks down, so I would always spend all my money on that. I'm like,
Wow.
"Well, there goes my $2 every day." But yeah.
I love how you did that. You saw the competition down the street. You're like, I'm about to take them out. Like the Mexican baker, I'm taking the street out. So you got the idea. Your folks kind of
Mhm.
have been obviously very supportive of that, and I think that's always great. What is the best piece of advice that you've received?
Mhm.
Just it can be towards your business or just in general that
Mhm.
is kind of grown, like you've put it into your business to kind of keep you going.
Mhm. I would say just be in the present. For me, I always look in the future. I always trying to like build stuff for the future, for like my career or for my business or just for me in general. And recently I've just really had to look of what I have right now and like what's going on right now.
I like that.
Thank you.
On the other end, what's the worst piece of advice? I think sometimes we always ask what's the best piece of advice, but what is the worst piece of advice that you've received? And you don't have to give the person or whatever, but it could be a piece that you're like, they told me this, but this wasn't true, or it's kind of it's propelled you to move forward.
I would say like always look at stuff in a business aspect. I feel like sometimes you just need to look at things just like, I don't always need to do this for my business, or I always don't need to sell this, or I don't need to like always be in contact with this one person. It's okay to cut people off.
Wow. That's powerful. Like what you just said, and especially at where you're at, I think sometimes they talked about, your friends, show who you are, and then you said it's okay to cut people off, and so that's saying a lot, and I know that's not always easy. I think both Harris and I both experienced that. We want to sample these, but and I'm gonna have Harrison sample first because I don't want to be chewing while I'm on air, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth. But what is some advice that you have for young people? What is the advice for, I didn't say your peers, that's people between 0 and 20, 25 years old. What's a piece of advice you'd have for them?
I would say just do things that you enjoy. It's really hard to just force yourself in a situation where you don't want to do things. You just don't want to be there. Sometimes I feel like I'm forcing myself to do my business, and that's when I have to cut back. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that event this week. Like, sorry. But I feel like it's just harder to force myself to make them, to wrap them. The wrapping, to dip the brownie pops. It's more just like, I know it's a job, but it feels like a job.
Okay. So how do you keep that enjoyment? I mean, this is obviously something I believe it started from enjoyment. It wasn't your dad saying you got to make brownies to pay for yourself.
Sort of.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole nother episode and story, but like, how do you keep the enjoyment of this is something that you enjoy doing? I mean, you come in here, you have not stopped smiling, and you were here before I got here, and I just have not seen you not smile. And so how do you keep that? And then how do you see keeping that when it does get tough, when business isn't maybe coming in the way you want it to, or it's, you want to do something else?
Well, I think it's part of it's the people who come out and support me. I had some friends come out yesterday for my event, and it sort of just made my day. Shout out to Junior and Angel. Thanks for helping me sell. I always have one of my friends to help me sell. I did it by myself for about 9 months, and then I had my friend Fatima. She came in and she helped me sell one time. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier with somebody, and they just make the time go by a lot faster. If I get tired, especially in this heat, I hate this Nebraska heat.
Oh yeah.
They just step in, and I have really good friends. I'm very appreciative towards my friends, and they always support me. Even if it's just a like or a comment or a repost, or even just talking about it. And not asking for a free one, but
that's tough because when it's good, that's what people want to do. They like business don't run itself. So I know Harrison's over here. He was nodding his head a little bit and they taking water. He's got half of it already down. So I want him to go ahead and give his authentic testimonial about Little D's while I take a couple bites.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I got a pretty strong sweet tooth, so I've had plenty of sweets degraded among others. But no, this is perfect. If you like kind of your thicker cakey brownie, this is perfect right there. It hits right with the coffee in the morning too. It's probably one of the best 1-2 punches I've had here on a Sunday morning. A good rich chocolatey brownie and a little bit of coffee. Yeah, definitely check it out. I would recommend it.
I got my Nebraska Keith Lee over here.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what, like when we asked for advice from for your peers, what's some advice that you would have for adults? I mean, so we're sitting here, we're tasting it, and we're like, okay, giving us affirmation, but it's like, okay, with this brownie, I'm going to give you also some advice, some life advice. What would that be?
I would say just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you can't do things. Like my mom, she's always wanted to have a food truck ever since she was probably my age, I would assume. But she just started doing it. She's 50, she's 55. She started her food business when she was about 51. So I wouldn't say your age is something to discriminate based off things you want to do in life.
Love that. I love that. And like I said, that you're seeing that translate and you're actually being a part of that as she goes on. So we talk oftentimes about relationships, and you've mentioned a little bit about that. What's a relationship that you've had that's mattered, and why do relationships matter? Maya Angelou oftentimes says, often, or had said, often forget what people have said, often forget what people have done, but I always remember how people have made them feel. So what is a relationship that you've had, and then why do relationships absolutely matter?
So this is a little bit random, but it's the security officer at Southwest. I don't know his last name, but his name's Kirk,
Okay.
and he's gotta be one of my favorite people in the whole building. I always talk to him every single day. Everyone's just like, "Why are you saying hi to the security officer?" I'm like, "Why aren't you?" You know, he's a person of this building. You know, he makes sure that we're safe, and it's pretty much because of JROTC. I have to wear my uniform to school, and I am one of the now because he enlisted into the army, I'm like one of the only people at Southwest and the only female who does JROTC, and everyone's just like, "Why is she wearing a uniform?" Which I understand because I'm in like a camo, sometimes a blue suit, so I understand their like confusion. But he's always just been open for me to talk about JROTC, my day. You know, he always makes sure that I'm good. He's a really nice guy.
You know what? I love how you said one, shout out to Kurt over at Southwest, and so just for making that impact. But two, I love how you said he's a person of the building. He's a person of the building too. And I think oftentimes people come into space, and I champion educators and I champion education, but also it's those individuals, it's the custodians, it's the, it's the security entrance individuals, it's the administrative assistants sometimes that are making the connect, and they're the first connect as you come into different spaces. And that's not only there, but also like doctor's offices,
Yeah.
And so I love how you said he's a person of the building too, and he's your relationship. So, what the business, where, going back to that, where do you see taking it? Like what is your future aspirations? I mean, you started in 7th grade, you're selling at school, you've expanded. I mean, you've got something today. I believe
Yeah.
your summer's kind of full with different stuff. Like what are your future hopes and plans, or just what's going on first this summer, and then where do you want to take that?
Well, this summer I'm gonna be training for track, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully these brownies don't make me a little bit too slow.
You were like,
Uh,
okay, at the state track meet, you're like giving
Yep.
everybody here, this is protein, this is nutrients. All right, you get on that track, you're like, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it
Okay.
sometimes, but I'm also orientation week for JROTC, helping new cadets. Um, Thankfully, I've actually moved up a little bit in the program, so I'm able to help others and to adjust to the program. Um, for in the future, I'm not too sure. Me personally, I want to enlist into the military.
Okay.
So hopefully, I'll just give my business to my parents, or it'll just go on like a hiatus forever.
So when you talk about that, I mean, because you've got this entrepreneur spirit,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of us, I think growing up, we've all said, and I kind of look at Harrison as like, oh, I want to own a business. I want to work for myself. And so I'm just interested, like, have you had, obviously watching your parents, have you had formal training, or just is it something that, like, where do you find the discipline? Where, I mean, obviously if you've modeled it after people, but where have you found the components to say, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to tweak this presentation. Like, I'm impressed. You brought these and you
Thank
brought them
you.
on a tray. Like, you didn't just put them in a bag and just here dump them down.
Mhm.
Like, they're wrapped. I mean, the brownie pops. I mean, where does this come is it self-made? And if so, like, what are the components that you've kind of lived, I've tried this, and then all of a sudden you're like, this didn't work. I need to go do this.
Mhm. I gotta say it's a little bit self-made. I was a sort of an artistic child. I was always in and out of like Lux Art Center, the library. I just really liked art. So I don't know. It just sort of just comes to me. I'm like, yeah, I don't want this. I want that. Or like this doesn't look good. I have to do it this way. Like for the regular cake pop, my mom always asks, like, why do you put sprinkles on it? It doesn't add anything. I'm like, it's because of the presentation. I've sort of helped
Okay.
my parents. I try and help them with social media, but
Okay.
moms and Facebook and stuff, but
You don't have her doing a TikTok with you or whatever.
nope,
Okay.
but, I just really like social media content and stuff. I like graphic design. I designed all my business stuff, all their business stuff.
Yeah, I love the logo, and like I said, your presentation, you're definitely doing that.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to a break. We're gonna finish off the brownie because, like I'm telling you, people, they are absolutely delicious. So we are going to give you an opportunity to get some, but also to supplement your sweet tooth with Little D's brownies. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Summertime is here, so get out your grills and smokers. Fairway has all you need for USDA prime or choice cuts of beef, all natural pork, chicken and seafood, and a selection of veal, lamb, bison, and Wagyu cuts. Now, through June 17th, enjoy Lincoln's favorite 8-ounce USDA choice bacon wrapped sirloin filet for just $4.99 each. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Season planter parts sale. Save big on all in-stock John Deere planter parts. Get an automatic 10% off on your purchase, or get 15% off when you spend $5,000 or more. Buy over $10,000 and get a whopping 20% off. Visit your local Acres location today and stock up on planter parts and save thousands. Hurry, the sale ends July 31st or while supplies last. Acres, solutions for every field.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through June 25th is buy one tri-tip roast, get one free. Plus, buy a mystery box and get 3 New York strips free. Also, 10% off all cheese. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Koppel. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados, plus Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now in Louisville, $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of your liberty and pursuit of your justice for those that have been injured. My name is Seth Morris, attorney with Liberty Law Group. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, call 877-42-LIBERTY. Our relentless trial attorneys are committed to the highest quality legal representation. At Liberty Law Group, we will fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Again, that's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Florida State beat North Carolina in the first game 7-5 or 9-5.
Was there a war chant?
I think there was.
There has to. There had to.
Give that to us. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Good.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and joined on the ones and twos with Harrison as always. And then we've got Deanna. It's a Rubik's Cube. That's okay. They always, but we've got Deanna Laffer, and we're going to go ahead and get her headphones real quick for her.
Yeah, in the meantime, like I said, if you guys want to join in at any time at all, you can put a face to the voice on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and download channel 961. It's always a great way to do so. You get a little more content. You get to see the Rubik's Cube that is those headsets. You're not the only person to do that. I mean, in fact, I think every other person, especially the first time you put those on, those headsets, they let them rotate you 360 degrees when you don't need it. But anyways.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew it.
No, that's all good. Well, hey, we have had a phenomenal opportunity to get familiar with you, your business. We definitely, before we leave, want to give that information out. And we're also going to do something special for those that have been listening. We've got a group of 6, and then also we've got 3 cake pops. So if you want to try Little D's brownies, Harrison, how can they come down and get that? We'll give away 6 brownies and the 3 cake pops.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys just want to come down here and test them out, we'll have them here up front. Just stop by the 1040 O Street. We'll give you some information about the business. That way you can support Deanna if you like the brownies, which if you try them, I'm sure you'll want to support her. So that being said, definitely swing by. We'll have them here, and we'll have some information for her as well if you want to get in reach with her and try to order some more brownies or cake pops.
Awesome. So I am curious. So you have a shirt, Black is Beautiful, Nebraska. You were at Juneteenth and did a phenomenal job as you were, engaging individuals, making people aware. But you talked earlier when we first segment about your culture and you're biracial and why is it important, as a minority, Black-owned business, why is it important to have that representation in what you do?
So me personally, I grew up African-American. But then about 2 years ago, I met Auntie Sata and Uncle Victor, and they're just like, my mom, apparently she looks like Uncle Victor. Like, they are really twins.
Okay.
So they're just like, yeah, you're Nigerian now. I'm like, okay. So I've been trying to learn Igbo. That's the it's a southeastern Nigerian language. It's the language my uncle speaks. And I think the representation matters because there's not a lot of people like me where they're half Black. Sometimes even just like having a Black mom, it's a little bit different. Honestly, you don't really see mixed people in businesses like this, especially at my age. Usually it's either they're Black or they're white. They're never both. And having both, sometimes it gives me a little bit of an advantage. I know how to speak to Black people. I know how to speak to white people. I know how to speak to both. I can relate to both sides. And having African aunties and uncles is very supportive. Like, I have people back in Africa. I've never even met them. They're like, good job, Diona. I'm like, thank you.
And you're sending brownies too. You're like, okay, Venmo me or Cash App me a brownie. If you really want it to be a good job, go ahead and Cash App, and then we'll send you a care package. Invest in the business. So when you speak to that, what would you say? I mean, I know we asked you earlier about advice, but I want some specific advice. Like, what would you say to little black and brown girls, okay, or boys that are looking and saying, I just looking for that spark. I'm looking for somebody that looks like me. And there are individuals out there, and tremendous credit to individuals that spark, but sometimes, that may not be readily present. I mean, they may not have a teacher. They may not have a Kurt when they walk into the building. So if Deanna's sitting in front of a group of little black and brown girls and boys, what would you tell them?
I would just say do things, like I said, do things that you enjoy to do. Don't let people try and pressure you to do things, even if it's just like a business wise. If you don't want to do it, just say that you don't want to do it. It may hurt those person's feelings, even if it's like your parents. I've had to say no to my parents for a few times. They're like, you should sell this, you should sell that. I'm like, no, it's just not me. I don't want to sell that. It's just not something I would like to sell. But they got over it, or I would just sell it at their events. But I'm just like, I like to stick with the brownies, but I would just say do what you like to do. Life is just it's too long. At the same time, it's too short to be stuck doing something you don't want to do.
I love how you stated that. We had our Father's Day episode last week, and I remember Mr. Bryant said something in regards to his interaction. I don't know if you remember her, somebody said something about his interaction with his daughter. And he said, I can tell her, and it's the way I see things, but sometimes I need to let her almost live her own, it's her journey and what that is. And I remember Sam said, you made me a better father at this moment. And so if you haven't gotten a chance, you can see old clips on the Ticket app and just go and visit that on YouTube, type in Bigger Than the Score. So it was right in line where we had an individual that was a little bit more seasoned, speaking to the same things that you're saying as a young person. So what advice do you have for your future self? Here you are, you talked about like maybe, giving the business to your mom or whatever. I think you got to sell. You saw the Mexican bakery down the street from your school. So you have a takeover plan or whatever else. I mean, are we going to see billboards? Do we need to, promotional pitch? Are we going to see Little D's Brownies locations across the country? Like what advice do you have for your future self?
Honestly, well, I'm really set on joining the military right now. I hope to be a pilot. So I'm not really too sure. I know, if you've ever heard me sell, I say 30% of the profits go towards my education to the Air Force Academy. So that is my goal right now, is to go to Air Force Academy when I graduate high school. So I'm not really too sure. Maybe if I get like injured or something, I definitely want to pursue like brownies. But right now I'm set on like going to military, so I can't really be making brownies while I'm out running laps in Colorado Springs.
You could have it on the side as a business, But
Yeah.
so that was one point too. So this all started to fund your education, and so speak to that. I mean, obviously you talked about going to the Air Force Academy. Not, people say a lofty goal, but I mean, it's definitely a goal that I can see you accomplishing.
Thank you.
So what precipitated you saying, okay, 30% is going to go towards my education? Because that's tough. I mean, I think like sometimes we see money come in and what percentage do you put back towards the business, towards other development, advertising? Why did you settle kind of on that 30%?
Well, I just like the number 30. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with 30%. I always fund back my business, or I try to. I just got a job, so hopefully it's not coming out of my parents' pocket no more. I gotta admit, I've slung off of them a few times, but I'm not too sure. I know I try and save my money. Gateway and South Point has really been they
I like how she calls them out by name. Gateway and South Point have been instrumental in me.
And oh my gosh,
I've helped fund another wing for them. Okay,
especially Chipotle, and the wings, those Wingstop mukbangs been getting me.
Ooh, okay.
But I try and save money. I try and hold on to it. I'm still a teenage girl, but yeah.
I love the fact that as you put out the other businesses, here's the downfalls, and everybody else is nodding their head. They're like, I ain't the only one. It starts young. So, give me a 30-second promo about Little D's. You're on the air. People are listening. You're doing your 30-second commercial bit. You can hold the product for product placement, however you want. So
Little D's, I do catering, I do businesses, I do events. You can really see me at the Bay, Art and Thrifts. I'm always there. I have brownie pops. I have Oreo, coconut, and regular. Unfortunately, they're not gluten free. I'm trying to work on that. I promise you. But yeah.
And how is Little D's going to change your life? If you eat Little D's today, how will it change your life?
You'll never want to try another Costco brownie again.
Oh, okay.
Those, nope. Mm-mm.
I appreciate that. And also, how, if people want to get in touch with you or, order, obviously, if they get in touch with the station, we'll forward that information to you. But how can they get in touch with you? Are you online, website, etc.? Like cost, people want to know how much they cost. And if they end up ordering 500, you cut them a deal. What does that look like?
Yeah, definitely.
What's your capacity right now too?
So they're $3, and then I have another deal, 6 for $15. My brownie pops are $4. What was your question?
And just like website and and contact information.
I have an Instagram, Lil D's Brownies, all undercase. I also have an Facebook, Lil D's Brownies. I'm thinking about a website drop. I might do delivery and delivery fees from like my house, but I don't know, that's in the future. I still gotta get my driving license first before that. I don't think my parents would be too happy driving me around on Lincoln.
Making that Lyft and Uber all of a sudden, as well as Little D. Well, hey, I'm truly appreciative of the opportunity to get to meet you in a formal capacity, have you on air, showcase Little D's Brownies. Again, we're gonna have them here at the station. First person gets down, we've got 6 and a couple brownie pops for you to try. But please join us next week on 93.7 The Ticket. Bigger than the score.